Welcome to the alternate corner, where real criminal trials take center stage and the pursuit of justice is our guiding principle. Here, we believe that every defendant is innocent unless proven guilty, and we invite you to experience the legal process as it unfolds, fairly, thoroughly, and objectively. Join us as we shed light on the courtroom, uphold the presumption of innocence, and seek the truth behind every case. Subscribe to stay informed, engaged, and empowered in the world of justice.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are we, people? I hope you're all doing well this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, whichever part of the world you're from, as we say. I had to chuckle, I've just seen this. Another CG says third. Well, CG, I think you're first, because that's the first comment I see. So you're not third, you're first. I don't know who the other two comments were, but you're first. Hope you're doing well. Here she is. The fake lovely Sarah P. Please hit the like and subscribe, everyone, and welcome to the channel. Best ways to support the channel, as always, we run by your contributions, PayPal and Buy Me Coffee, but never required, but always appreciated. As always, the wish list just for Lady Di. I've just done my Amazon wish list just to piss Lady Di off. Morning to you, Sarah. Hope you're well. Bad days, afternoon, sir. Thanks for sharing on Twitter, my friend. Hope you're doing well. There you go. Morning, Sarah. This way up. How you doing, fella? Hope you're doing well as well. Trish Norman, welcome to the channel. I believe you're from Texas because y'all are covering this. You are the only one covering right now. There'll be plenty of people covering it, I suspect. I think there'll be a lot of people covering this trial. There's just so many other trials going on at the minute. But thank you very much. But yeah, there will be, I believe, from my understanding, there is a lot of like Core TV, Dateline, all the Detroit networks. They will all be in this streaming. I imagine Core TV will be the pool camera. So there'll be plenty of options to watch this trial, Trish. So don't you worry, my darling. Am I right? Are you from Texas? I mean, I know that's a broad statement, but y'all... right. Anyone have updates on the detective? So I don't know much about any of this stuff, but I do have his hearing, which we'll play. But no, I don't know more than that. Hello, Christine. How are you? Hope you're not stowed in, Christine. Hope you're doing well, my darling. Jugs is here. How are we doing, Just Jugs? Nice to see you. Thanks for all your comments on the stream yesterday. I appreciate you, my darling. The bitch is here. Hello, Lady Di. How are you, my darling? Hope your husband's doing well as well. You can't handle the truth. Rhonda, hello, my darling. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going well for you and Chris out there. No, he's probably out there plowing still. Right, have I missed anyone here? I don't think I have. You're all good saying hello to each other. How much is your membership? No idea, if I'm being honest. No idea. I think about $3.99, but don't you worry at all, my darling. Don't you worry at all about it, my darling. You don't need to be a member. You're all good, my darling. Thank you for covering. No worries at all, but I'll get into it in a second now. You might not be thanking me in a second, but I'll I like your sweatshirt. What is it? This is Tracy Murray. You know, Resist the Silence, Tracy. I adore and I love Tracy. This is her new business, her yoga and well-being business in Boston. So I'm representing Tracy only because I absolutely adore her. She is wonderful. She's the opposite of Dana, basically. So she's wonderful and she's beautiful. As I say, the opposite of Dana, and she's funny, opposite of Dana. Tennessee, close. That was close though. Hello, but darling. Yeah, fairly regular. I'm not going to do full streams, full days and stuff, but I'm back covering trials. I am, mate. I am back. Yes, it's cute. Oh, it's just like me. And you see the back. It's got some stuff on the back as well. So we'll clip that. Right. So just to preface this, right? Because Trish is here as well, and she's obviously probably in the know of this trial. Trish, I'll be honest with you, most of us here don't know much about this trial. But I know it's coming up. I found out as well that they have got 700 prospective jurors for this trial. 700. And they're going to vote everyone. And the analyst I watched, which I'll show you now, thinks that it's going to take 2 weeks. 2 weeks to sit the jury. So that's 2 frigging weeks to sit the jury. Each side has 18 strikes, which means that you can strike, defense and prosecution can strike any juror, 18 jurors each at any point for any reason. There's no need to give a reason. They got 18 strikes. Yeah, Katie, you sent me some stuff this morning. Thank you for that. It shows I'm live and I'm not live, which is weird. I get the same though. So yeah, this is why maybe, Terry, this is why people aren't covering it, because it's allegedly going to take 2 weeks to sit the jury. So which would make sense. I'll play that video for you now, just so you guys are up to the loop with me. Hello, Nancy, my darling. Nice to see you. Let's go, Pats. Let's go, Pats. Love it. Nancy's from Boston, very big Pats fan. So is her husband. I hope he still enjoys that hoodie of him as Patriot Pat. Let me play it for you then, people. Here it is. Right. I'm going to skip a little bit here because there's a guy talking nonsense, but going to the Super Bowl. Yes, I know. I love it. I know. Right. Let me show you this before we go any further, people. Let's boost it for Deb. Unless
with the court administrator, Dateline's coming, Court TV's coming, all of the Detroit stations. So
you see, there's going to be plenty of stations they cover in this trial. So, and that's the best thing sometimes. There's so many channels that cover it that, you can pick and choose who you want. Do you know what I mean? So
a lot of interest in this case, and we've covered it from the beginning.
With all the publicity it's been getting, is it even possible to get people on the jury that haven't heard? I guess the whole point is maybe get them in and they admit that, like, I have an open mind about the case.
Well, I think that's the misconception, because there's a lot of people, as I post about this case coming to trial, who are saying it's not going to be possible to find people who have not heard of the case. But that's not what needs to happen. It's okay if people have heard of the case, but they need to be able to say that they are unbiased after hearing what they've heard about the case. So the attorneys on both sides need to feel confident that despite what these potential jurors may have heard, that they can make a decision that is fair and delivers justice without bias. That's the big question.
I can't imagine the number of people it's going to require to go through one by one to go through jury selection.
So we have information.
Hold up. We have a blast from the past here, Spacey 118. What is going on? I have missed Spacey so much. If you don't remember, Spacey is wow, she's out there. But I absolutely adore Spacey. She has conspiracy theories going left, right, and center, and I absolutely love every single one of them. So I don't know where you've been, but I'm so happy that you're here. I've not seen you for months and months, probably 6, 7 months. Hope you're doing well, my darling. Patty, hello to you, my darling. Right. Terry, hello. How are you, my darling? Nice to see you as well, as always. But that shocked me to see Spacey here. Wow. I love that. I've missed Spacey.
On that, there are
Wait till Bad Daz to see Spacey's in the chat. Fucking hell.
700 people in Lenawee County who will receive a jury duty notification. So it's an expanded pool. Usually they're not this big. And the judge is also allowing for 18 preemptive challenges. So that means an attorney can say, I don't want this person because they said that they are Team D or Team Dale. Okay. But then they get 18 strikes basically to say, I don't want this person, and they don't have to really give a reason why.
What are the likely questions you'd be asking a potential juror about the case?
So I did request the proposed questions, and I have them from both the defense and the prosecution. And I just brought today some that I think are interesting. Obviously, you have run-of-the-mill ones, like have you attended any vigils for Dee, or how much have you heard of the case? But here's some that I thought were a little interesting. Do you think, these are the defense proposed questions, do you think all claims of domestic violence are truthful, or might there be some exaggerations? What about someone who is at times checking on their spouse's whereabouts? Do you think that person is necessarily more likely to commit murder? Do you have or live on a farm? Or have you done any welding or know anything about welding or anhydrous ammonia? So those are the defense questions. And you can kind of sense where they're trying to go with this. Mm-hmm. For the prosecution, do you believe all victims of domestic abuse report the abuse to law enforcement? Do you believe that secretly tracking your spouse is normal behavior? And then one points to the fact that we don't necessarily know of any DNA. Do you believe you must have DNA or other scientific evidence to be convinced a particular person is associated with that crime? So they want to make sure that the juror is going to be okay with not necessarily hearing any DNA evidence.
8 weeks this trial, is that kind of optimistic?
We're looking at 9, so end of March. Now, for jury selection, we're looking at about 2 weeks because they are pulling them in, from what I understand, one by one for voir dire. Voir dire means to speak the truth. It's an old French saying, to speak the truth. So this is the whole process of jury selection. It's called voir dire, so you'll hear a lot about that. And they're doing it one by one. And I already told you how many they're calling in.
Mel, thank you.
And then one points to the fact that we don't necessarily know of any DNA. Do you believe you must have DNA or other scientific evidence to be convinced a particular person is associated with that crime? So they want to make sure that the juror is going to be okay with not necessarily hearing any DNA evidence.
8 weeks this trial, is that kind of optimistic?
We're looking at 9, so end of March. Now, for jury selection, we're looking at about 2 weeks because they are pulling them in, from what I understand, one by one for voir dire. Voir dire means to speak the truth. It's an old French saying, to speak the truth. So this is the whole process of jury selection. It's called voir dire, so you'll hear a lot about that. And they're doing it one by one. And I already told you how many they're calling in.
Mel, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, wow. I told you, didn't I? I didn't expect that. Oh, are you going? Where's KD going? KD, where are you off to? Have a great day. I don't know where you're going to, but I hope you have a great day as well. I don't know what's up with KD. I don't know, but hope you're doing well, KD. I'm only having a ham and cheese sandwich, I think, tonight. Oh, we'll miss you in the chat. But we did miss Just Jugs yesterday in the chat as well. Then she bombarded me with messages all last night, which I loved. Yeah, 9 weeks. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit of what the trial is. I don't know if we're going to cover it, if I'm being honest with you. It is a long time, and I'll tell you why once you see why in a second now. Last appointment. I don't know if we will still be. We'll only be here for a couple of hours, so probably not. But I'm sure you look beautiful afterwards. So 2 weeks for that, and then it sounds like 6 to 7 weeks for the actual trial. So that is a lot. That's a lot for I know a lot of you don't know anything about this case, so I'm going to play some stuff for you, just so you're aware of the case more than anything, and then we'll just decide what we do moving forward. I do think that's a long time, 6 to 7 weeks. I didn't expect that. KD is high maintenance. I think most of the chat is high maintenance. I think it's only Bad Daza and Blue Collar Dave that are not high maintenance. Blue Collar Dave is Union Dave. Dave Umberger is basically a woman. So that is a long trial, especially if they get into the financials. This is why I don't know. This is why I think it's going to be quite boring. So I don't know. Look, we'll make a decision. Let's look at some of the parameters. This is why I wanted to do this. So that people can see what's going on with this case, and then people can decide either we cover it, we don't. But if I don't, then there'll be other people. So Trish, just be assured, if I don't cover it, there could be Court TVs, the Dateline, Detroit News. The thing is, no one's covering it at the minute, obviously, because they can't show jury selection. So that explains why no one's covering it. I didn't know that until I started today. So, right. I am not. I'm a simple girl. Okay, Jugs is also a simple girl. Right. I'm going to show you, first of all, full-time timeline of Dee Warner's case. So just so you're aware of the timeline we're playing with at the minute. And then I'll show you the actual case that I found. So this is a timeline. Let me boost it and share it.
The search for Dee Warner has been ongoing for more than 3 years. It's an investigation that started as a missing person case. Now, her husband is set to face trial on accusations he killed her. Deanne Warner was 52 years old when she was last seen alive by her husband, Dale. Police say that happened in the early morning hours of April 25th, 2021. Family members searched the Warner home and the nearby woods. Weeks later, there was still no word from Dee.
Obviously, as time goes on, we are more and more concerned about her safety as obviously Mother's Day passed and she was not around and didn't make contact with anybody.
The Lenawee County Sheriff's Office continued to investigate. By October of 2021, there were more extensive searches. Still, no sign of Dee Warner.
We wanted to make sure that we covered every basis and got out here and did a thorough search one more time.
Nearly 1 year after Dee went missing, her family put out a reward in March of 2022. They didn't believe she was still alive and offered $50,000 to anyone who could provide information leading to her remains.
As far as what I would like to see happen, I would like to see this come to a resolution as soon as possible.
That reward stood unclaimed, and Dee's family brought in a private investigator, then went to a judge in September of 2022.
This petition that was filed is to have Dee declared deceased by the courts so that other pieces of the case can move forward.
Hearings continued for months as Dee's family waited for the court's decision and faced a difficult milestone, 2 years without answers.
On the one hand, it feels like a very short time. On the other hand, it feels like 100 years.
My mom was my best friend. I talked to her every day. I still talk to her. It will be hard, but she's still with me, so I'll be okay.
Throughout the investigation, Dale's attorney argued Dee had packed up and left. He said Dee had done it before, and authorities confirmed the couple got into an argument before Dee went missing.
There's easy ways to get identification from the internet, from resources overseas. You can get identification. You can even get a different identity. It's possible today, I guess, to even get a new social security number.
Well, I think they're lying. 100%. I think that's their only possibility of a narrative that they think they can try to turn the public on, to think that the story of theirs about her vanishing was anywhere even possibly something that logical people could believe.
By May of 2023, no one had been charged in Dee's disappearance, but her family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against her husband, Dale.
What the family wanted to do was have her declared deceased earlier so that they could put closure to the case.
We were a little bit shocked. That was not the way we thought things were going, based on their argument all this time that she's still in Mexico or somewhere alive.
Dale would be charged with contempt of court this past September. A judge said he ignored her ruling by selling off assets belonging to both him and Dee. 2 months later, in November of 2023, Dale was charged for allegedly killing his wife.
In disbelief, for one. I waited 2.5 years for this day to come, but the reality of hearing it hurt more than I could ever imagine.
Dee was declared legally dead just months ago, in March. The judge heard evidence to determine whether Dale would go to trial in May. That preliminary hearing lasted 3 days and was continued into June 7th, when the judge ruled Dale would face a jury on charges of murder and tampering with evidence.
State police did a fantastic job in conjunction with the local sheriff, right? So great day for justice, great day for the community. Very happy for the family. Even though it's not really a happy day. Dee is gone forever, won't come back, but at least they're on the path to getting justice.
Searches continued, and Dale's trial was set without Dee's body, until this past week, when authorities uncovered a tank welded shut and painted over with human remains inside. Michigan State Police say this is a continuing investigation, and it'll take testing and time to make an official determination as to whether the remains are those of Dee Warner. Family members tell WTOL 11 an autopsy is set for Tuesday.
Fuck's sake. I do that, you see. Oops. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm here. Welded, yes, we'll get into that. Go Hawks. Rhonda. There you go. Seahawks fan. Seahawks are favourites, deservedly so. It's going to be a tough game, but still believe in the Patriots. So good luck to you, Rhonda. Love that. I was talking. I know. Sorry, people. I was speaking. Yeah, sometimes I'm a dummy. Right, I just clicked something I wasn't supposed to click. So, share screen. So he is. He is. So he's being represented by Mary Chartier. However you say that, I have no idea. The detective's name is Kevin Grecker or something. I don't know how you say that. So there's a detective involved in this that when basically we're on the run, which we'll get into in a second, in a little bit. But then he's been arrested and he's out on bail. His bail is, I believe, bond is $50,000. He was, I believe, a detective in this case, and he was subpoenaed to testify in the trial, and he basically went on the run, which is bizarre. So that's interesting. So Dale, the husband, is being charged for homicide, open murder. Okay, where is it? So homicide, open murder, statutory short form, and tampering with evidence, punishable by more than 10 years. Was it the same? Yeah, same date. So he's been prosecuted for two things: tampering with evidence and obviously homicide, murder. So those are the two cases, and the detective, or I don't know what his class was, but one of the investigators in the case is on bond for $50,000, and we'll watch his hearing in a little bit here now. So there you go. That's what he's standing in charge for trial for. So I'm going to show you the case via 48 hours. Now, you know how I feel about Court TV, 48 hours, and everybody. They only give you perspective of the prosecution. So take this with a pinch of salt. Like Nico said yesterday, so you all remember we went into the trial of the last trial we went into. We all thought most of us thought that the defendant was guilty, and it turned out, well, no, he wasn't. As soon as we started watching it, this is obviously media pushing a narrative. So he may well be guilty. I have no idea, but just remember this is 48 hours. So there's only one side that we're hearing here right now. So before I play, I just want to preface that, because it's simple to say someone's guilty because of what we just watched. Those of you who've been here a long time know that we try and go into every trial basically saying the defendant is innocent unless proven guilty. Now, that does not mean that we think that the defendant should be set free. It means that we're willing to give the defendant a fair trial. And if they end up being guilty, then so be it. But as long as they get a fair trial. And that means that they then can appeal and stuff like that. That's why I hate shady prosecutors. So with that in mind, don't base your whole opinions based on this. Take this because it's a good narrative about what happened to Dee, and nothing changes the fact that we all want justice for Dee. She definitely deserves justice for that. There's no question about that. It's just who murdered her. Spacey Stacey, hello, my darling. Hope you're well. Right, let's watch this. I have to stop start it because I will get kicked off otherwise. So I will have to stop start and give commentary. Otherwise, they will. Good shout. I do like this intro in terms of telling us who Dee was and seeing that element of it. So I'll give that to 48 hours. I do like that aspect of it. I think it's good. Hello, hippie chick, by the way. Hope you're doing well. I like that intro. That was a good way of understanding who she was. Now I can skip the music for this. Erin Moriarty. Let's see what she's got to say. So this is a farm as well they're looking at. They did find the body, Spacey, spoiler. They did find the body eventually, yes. Hello, Hot Mama. How we doing? Just Jug says, April 25th, my birthday. Well, I'm April 20th, and Lady Di, I believe, is April 25th as well. Or 27th, I think. Maybe 27th. Beautiful place. It's gorgeous. The house, the land, the buildings. I think it's a very, very nice place. Look at that. Who would want to live in there? I know it's probably very rural, but beautiful landscape. Like, I'll be honest with you, I would live there. That is gorgeous. The dust, I know, Spacey, the dust, though. But that's gorgeous. What landscape is that? That is fantastic. That I would love to live in a place like that. What do we always say? What do we always say, people? Never talk to the police without an attorney. What does Sean, potential criminal, always say? Nobody talks, everybody walks. Frig? My mic. I was just saying, what do we always say in this position? What does Sean always say? Nobody talks, everybody walks. Can you all hear me now? Josie, you make me paranoid now. Oh, there you go. Jugs heard me. It's fine. I have to pause here because I just got a warning to say, heads up, we've detected video in your stream belonging to someone else. Your stream may be temporarily blocked if you plan to continue. So I'll pause you for a second there. Rotten bananas. The gilf is on fire. You see, Lidlo? It's a song for you. I still can't get over it. So this is Michigan. Obviously, this is... Right, so I'll go through the timeline whilst we wait for this because I don't want to get stricken. So she goes missing. Hey, Marky, how you doing, fella? She goes missing on April 25th, 2021. She's 52 years old. August 2022, Michigan State Police take over the investigation from the Lenawee County Sheriff. I think this is... Oh, no. Okay, am I back? 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 I think I'm back. Are we back? Are we back, everybody? I think we're back. Yay, I'm back. I'm not sure if you saw me. I did say, hang on, let me put myself up here. I did say that I'm about to get yeeted, so I'm going to have to pause it here and read some stuff because I got a warning. The next thing I saw was everyone started going, oh no. So we're back. Okay, so I was just reading some stuff here. We need to pause it a lot more than I just did then, basically. So April 25th is when Dee Warner vanished. She went missing. So interestingly, August 22 is when Michigan State took over the investigation from Lenawee County Sheriff's Office. That is like April, May, June, July. That was 16 months after the fact. And then November 2023 is when Dale was arrested. And March 2024 was when the judge legally declared Dee Warner dead. And in August 16th, 2024, that's when investigators made the discovery of Dee's body inside a welded shut ammonia tank on the property. So, yeah, it's been going on for years. It's, you know, it's an awful thing. Let me skip some stuff then, because we don't need to see everything. If I go here, then see what happens here. Hang on. I removed myself. Oops. Hang on, where do I go here? There. Nope, wrong one. That's what I just got another warning, so I very quickly clicked out of it. So motherfuckers. Okay. Okay, well, I can't show this then. Fine, whatever. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Put the Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Ba 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 ba, whiskey and rye. Thinking this could be the day that I bow, 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 ba ba bow, ba bow, bow. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Put the Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Ba 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 ba. Beep 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 beep. Ba 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 ba. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Ba 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 ba. Oh, my, Miss America Pie. Put the Chevy to the levee, but the levee was there. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Bam, 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 bam. Are we back? Are we back? Are we back? Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Put the Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys are drinking whiskey and we're back. Happy days. Okay. Bye. I don't know what this video is about, but let's try this one instead. Hopefully they don't strike us again. But this I'll do another station and we'll see what happens here. Share screen. Well, in a way, it's a quite good thing because we just lost half our viewers, so we clear the whole chat out, so with the riffraffs, Here we go.
Dee was one of the most caring and giving people you could ever imagine.
She was a good person. She was outgoing. She was spunk.
So the problem I have is I have to pause it every 40 to 45 seconds. And I think that would get annoying. So I'm trying another site now. That's ridiculous that I have to pause every 45 seconds. Do you know what I mean? It's just too much. So we'll, I don't mind pausing every 3 to 4 minutes, but jeepers.
To say the least.
She loved to be together.
She was a strong woman.
She protected everyone.
As far as the children, she couldn't be any better. And then when grandchildren came along, she just...
Also, just to say, I should not get blocked here because it's a news site. So I don't suspect I will be blocked here. So we should be good.
Lit up like a star.
She was adamant that she is Nana and not a grandma.
This woman would step in front of a bullet for them in a heartbeat.
It was certainly tough for the family to face my sister's remains in a man-made tomb.
There you go. That's where the remains were found, and that had been welded shut, and he was on the property. So just remember, Dale was arrested. The husband, Dale, was arrested in November 2023. The judge declared Dee dead March 2024, and the remains were found in August 16th, 2024. So, so he got arrested in November 2023, and the remains were found August 16th, 2024.
She didn't deserve this. And I know deep down in my heart that she wouldn't want her children to live in remorse and grieve the rest of their lives. She loved them too much.
The case is not closed, so there's more work to be done.
There's one person that could stop all this madness.
"52-year-old Dee Warner, a mother of 5, missing more than 3 years.
The case has captured attention from Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan, across the United States and beyond. Now, 1,228 days later, her body has been found. Her death has been. The case has captured attention from Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan, across the United States and beyond. Now, 1,228 days later, her body.
1,228 days later. 1,200. Wow. When you look at that, it's huge. Hey, big chick, you're back. Dylan starts doing things, other things that isn't paying attention. So if you don't pause enough at the start, then they go to every 45 seconds. They have to pause it, and I can't be. I haven't got patience for that. That is crazy. Friggin' Nora.
Body has been found. Her death has been ruled a homicide.
She's gone. She took all her bags, so somebody picked her up.
And her accused killer is awaiting trial.
11 Investigates presents Hidden in Plain Sight, Dee Warner's story. Born Deanne Hardy, July 29th, 1968, missing April 25th, 2021, found deceased August 18th, 2024.
Dee lived here on Munger Road in Lenawee County with her husband Dale and their young.
I will say I'm not gonna make inappropriate comments, because obviously this is a very terrible case. I'm not gonna say that this female journalist is hot as hell, but I just want to let you know I won't be doing that.
Child Angelina, just 4 miles from the spot that would eventually become her tomb. Family and friends say they knew something was wrong when Dee didn't answer her phone or text messages.
This time was different. There's no doubt about that. The last time I ever saw her was Friday afternoon.
Her nephew, Parker Hardy, remembers thinking Dee wasn't herself in the days leading up to her disappearance.
I remember getting out of the car. She was exhausted. She was babysitting my youngest cousin's youngest daughter. And I went to grab the baby for her, and she goes, "No, that's okay, honey, I got it." But normally our relationship is giving each other a hard time, joking, stuff like that. She was just head down, just different. Was she defeated? I think so.
People who knew Dee and people who didn't came together to search. They combed hundreds of acres over the next few days and weeks. Hardy says the case hit a brick wall until his mom, Dee's sister-in-law, was watching true crime TV.
That was a total mistake of my mom watching 48 Hours one night. And she grabbed my dad was asleep. She grabbed my dad the next morning and she said, "You got to watch this guy."
That guy was Billy Little Jr., a private investigator. Dee's family says he volunteered his time and promised to leave no stone unturned.
This case will go on until there's an arrest, until there's a conviction in this case, until there's a civil lawsuit for wrongful death, that we are not stopping.
He said, "I'm here to find Dee."
Pro bono.
Pro bono. And he said, if the case leads me to you guys, he said, it's going to lead me to you guys. I just want to warn you that. Yes, I'm sitting here in your facilities, but if you had anything to do with this, it's going to lead me to there. And we all said, go right on ahead.
Dee's family asked a judge to legally declare her dead in September of 2022. An attorney at that time for her husband, Dale Warner, said Dee had left before and may have just packed up for good this time.
There's easy ways to get identification from the internet, from resources overseas. You can get identification. You can even get a different identity. It's possible today, I guess, to even get a new social security number.
With no one charged in Dee's disappearance by May of 2023, her family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Dale. He would be held in contempt of court in September when a judge ruled he ignored the court's order and sold off assets shared between him and his wife. Dale would be charged with murder and tampering with evidence in November of 2023.
We are back on the record in the state of Michigan versus Dale Warner.
In June, a judge ruled he'd go to trial without Dee's body being found until August 18th, when police found remains in a tank on property Dale owned, remains that would be identified as Dee's within 4 days.
Over the course of the next 30 minutes, we'll explore Dee's life and the legacy she leaves behind. We sit down with those who loved her, including her nephew, whose farm we are on. We'll also hear from people leading the investigation and one man who volunteered his time to help her family make sure the case didn't go cold.
But Dee's life is about much more than how she died. Her family will remember how she lived.
Dee was one of the most caring and giving people you could ever imagine.
Caring. In ways her family knew. And some, they're still learning.
And this woman would do anything for you once she got to know you. And there's stories coming in every once in a while of things that she did that we never even knew she did.
Dee would marry twice, have 5 kids, and 6 grandchildren at the time of her death.
She loved to be together. She would have all the farmers down to their barn, and they would have a big dinner. Dee was all about the glam. I mean, the food would always be perfect.
Hardy says that perfection and glam carried over into her professional life.
It got to a point where she was making the money. She knew what she had. It wasn't like she was spending out of control, where some people will say that from his family. It wasn't that. It was very much she was just enjoying the finer things in life. She knew she had earned that money. She felt like she deserved to have the nice car, have the nice clothing, go nice places and stuff like that, where he was the glitz and glamour didn't matter to him.
Him being her husband, Dale.
She was the driving force, in my opinion.
Catherine Adams started the group Justice for Dee and has been a lifelong friend of Dee's family.
She was adamant that she was Nana and not a grandma.
Even when they didn't want help, Dee offered and almost forced herself in to help at times.
And that family intensity, Hardy says, may have carried over into her public life as she dealt with people and handled business on and off the farm.
Dee suffered a little bit felt like she wasn't always socially accepted sometimes. Her personality was so strong that some people would shy away from it a little bit. Yeah, it could be off-putting at times when really she wasn't trying to do that at all. She was trying to help, but it was so forceful. I think a good example would probably be at the fair.
Oh, yeah.
She was so forceful. She wanted everything so perfect for her 4-H kids that some of the other parents kind of took it a little bit offensive at times. And that wasn't how she wanted to be, but she suffered with that, I guess, a little bit of social anxiety.
She came off abrasive.
Abrasive, but ambitious. An ambition her family says showed on the farm, in her trucking company, and being part of what they called a man's world.
She had to prove her dominance, that she could survive in this type of industry. It wasn't like anybody was saying, "Oh, you're a woman, you can't survive in this industry." It's just, you know how it is when
Maybe she put it on herself too.
She did.
A little
I think
bit.
she did. She had a major drive to be successful.
But Hardy says she never let that drive get in the way of her relationship with her kids and her grandkids.
As far as the children go, I mean, she couldn't be any better. And then when grandchildren came along, I mean, she just lit up like a star.
And would want each of them to remember the good times, the food, the fun, and the family.
I can hear her saying, "What's done is done. It's time to live your life now." And I know deep down in my heart that she wouldn't want her children to live in remorse and grieve the rest of their lives. She loved them too much. I mean, this woman would step in front of a bullet for them in a heartbeat.
Hello, Josie. How are you, my darling? Nice to see you. I've not seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, we'll get back to this in a second, people. Just so you're aware, we're all up to date with what's going on. Let me get this up. Let me get this bad boy up. Thank you, my darling. Thank you, Josie. So this was released a few minutes ago. So he's just declined a plea deal ahead of jury selection this morning. So he was offered, I believe, oops, let me make it bigger. That's what she said. Sorry, ladies. Right. Dee Warner, the man accused of killing his wife in Lenawee County, I don't know if I say that right, declined the plea deal Tuesday ahead of jury selection. The prosecutor said in court that the plea deal of second-degree murder and tampering with evidence was offered after discussions with Dee Warner's family. The denial of the plea deal by Dale, 57, who was present in court on Tuesday, means the case will go to trial as jury selection got underway at Lenawee County Circuit Court. I love that Nancy gets my jokes. You see, Nancy, you get me. You get me. So yeah, I'm not surprised he turned it down, because tampering with evidence is a minimum of 10 years, I believe. And I imagine second-degree murder will be, what, 40 years, 30, 40 years. So he's never going to see the outside world ever again. So he's probably thinking, let's take it to court, But we'll see. I mean, he might be taking it to court because he believes, he is innocent. So there's that as well. So, right, I'll get the other one up now then. It's called to trial, yes, but just a reminder, there's going to be 2 weeks of alleged... Well, we'll know better in the next couple of days, I suppose, but allegedly it's going to be 2 weeks of jury selection. What does he have to lose? Nothing. Exactly. That's what I mean. He's got nothing to lose in terms of that. He might as well go, especially if if he believes he's innocent and he's like, no, I didn't fucking do it. Even if he did do it, right, and it's still worth going to trial because he gets to stay in court. He's out of his cell for 7 weeks, 9 weeks. And what's the difference? If he's got found guilty, he's never seen the light of day ever again. So I agree. What's he got to lose at that age, 57? It's different if you're like 20 or whatever. But right, let me get the stream back on for you. Nancy's ready. Nancy's done. Nancy's like, no, he's done. He did it so clearly he thinks he can get away with it. It is my opinion. There you go. There you go. I mean, everything points towards it. Do you know what I mean? Without doubt. But I've got some questions already. I have got some questions because the investigation was so poor. I have got some questions. But yeah, it is aiming towards him. I agree. But I will also say innocent unless proven guilty. So we'll see.
At first, I thought she'd committed suicide. I really did. She was
that distressed.
She was that distressed.
Still to come, the shocking revelation after Dee went missing and why her family thought the worst.
Family members share their memories of Dee just moments ago here on their farm, and you heard about her strong personality along with a drive to succeed.
But another story has come up again and again over the last 3 years.
So what do you think she saw in him?
Power, success. She had a drive, as I mentioned, to be very successful. Her first husband did not have that at all. He was very just happy with what he had, you know, go from day to day, get your farming done, make a living, support your family. We're all happy. She wanted to build an empire, without a doubt.
You brought up Hatfield's McCoys when we were talking off camera, but just your memories, because coming into the family history, all of that, initial impressions, concern for Dee, obviously, going into a new relationship, things of that. Do you remember any of that?
Oh, I do. I don't remember it in an exclusive detail, but I remember enough of it. It was an interesting time. Let me tell you that. It was hard on the kids.
Why?
Because of the fights. There was just a lot, you know, when you have this wife swap situation, it just got he, she, they, theirs. And it was really hard on the kids.
Because you dropped the phrase wife swap. This was a scenario that you laid out, that you said, Dale was here, Dee was here, they were with other people, and there was a crisscross, essentially.
There was. Dee and Dale worked together at a custom application company. And that's kind of what drove them to start their own. And so sometime at work they met, and at a certain point there was a divorce between the two couples.
I want to go back to the power thing. Specifically, as those businesses started, how I guess influential was Dee? If she had this drive, if she had this initiative, and the two of them were already kind of conflicting in that sense, how involved was she in the businesses? How involved was she allowed to be in the businesses?
She was the driving force, in my opinion, and Dale was more of the quiet, you know, just did the work. You know, he was doing the spraying, he was doing the farming. Like, Dee was the boss at the desk. Dee was in charge of the logistics, all the things, and she was always wanting bigger and more, and Dale just kind of rode along with her. I mean, he is a hard worker. I will give him that, but
Dale was the labor side of it.
Yeah, that's a good way
Dee
to
had
say it.
this vision, and where Dale had the same vision, wanted it, but Dale was the one that would put the labor into it.
So
She was the thinker.
Do you think she loved Dale and Dale loved her at one time? Do you think there was ever love?
I think so, but I don't know that it wasn't always coded with that success story. That was really what she saw in Dale. Dale had this vision to build an empire. There was no doubt about it. And I mean, they took it by storm when they took her place down there and they transformed it into these new companies.
Family members say they will never forget the day that Dee went missing. For Catherine Adams, it only took a few days for her to realize that Dee wasn't coming back.
Police found Dee's remains just over 2 weeks ago on Sunday, August 18th, inside a fertilizer tank here on this property belonging to her husband.
It was a collaboration of a lot of things that led us to that point, without getting into huge detail.
Parker Hardy says his family worked with police to get to this point.
My father and I were the ones that originally saw him about 2 days after, working on that very tank. And it was always a weird thought to me on why he was doing that. He said, I told the guys that I hadn't been able to sleep at night, his workers. Told the guys that I hadn't been able to sleep at night, and I would, if they bring a few of these rusty tanks in, I would paint them at night when I couldn't sleep down here in this fertilizer barn. No cameras, no nothing. He said, but I didn't mean that rusty tank. He said, I meant one of the ones on wheels that just had a little bit of rust. That anhydrous is very corrosive, so it will rust the outside of the tank, and every so many years you paint the tanks. Just lather some white paint on them. And so that's what he said he was doing. In the back of my head, it was just very weird, but I drove out of there and kept working. My dad goes down the next day. That tank that he said he wasn't going to paint is still sitting there half painted now at that point. So that means to us, when we've been talking as a family, that she wasn't in that tank when I was there. She was in that tank when my dad was there the next day.
You know, with her being so tough, you would have never, ever thought that something bad would happen to her like that, because she's more than capable. You know, she protected everyone.
Police found Dee's body 3 years later in a tank in this barn, Jeff, quite literally hidden in plain sight.
And what's fascinating is how close it was, just steps across Paragon Road, to an area that had already been searched.
This picture appears to show Dale Warner watching his crews searched and dug across the street from where Dee's body would eventually be found.
It was the first day or two that we started looking at sites, got confronted by Dale Warner.
What were some of those behaviors and statements?
He went from 0 to 60 in a split second. And we're out in the field, Greg Hardy said, and all the time he knew him, he'd never seen that behavior out of him before.
Take me through the investigation. What kind of leads did you get to? Evidence that you found? Kind of take me through where this led you.
Family members tried to get a pattern for who she was, the kind of stuff she ordinarily did, and see if this was anything that was out of character for her.
Work that would turn from days to weeks to years until
there has been no plea deals with Dale Warner. The detectives were just reviewing evidence that they had, going over maybe some tips or some leads that had come in previously, and decided, yeah, this might be someplace that we want to check out again in case we overlook something.
This took 3 years too long.
This has been a long, drawn-out case, but again, it's just our detectives have been working hard on this case. And for the prosecutor to authorize charges on a no-body case, that means they've got all their ducks in a row.
In this case, finding the body makes the case much easier.
There's one person that could stop all this madness.
In our final minutes, finding peace, but maybe not forgiveness, and the lasting legacy Dee leaves behind.
Just over 2 months have passed since a judge ruled Dale will go to trial for allegedly murdering Dee.
And no date has been set here at the Lenawee County Courthouse. And Dee's family says the trial will be different even as police searches continue.
I think it's because they're still trying to get more evidence. In fact, they were there searching yesterday. So I think that the case is not closed. So there's more work to be done. So before they tip their hat anymore, they want to get that.
I think they've got the cake right now.
Right.
They want the cherry on top of it. And we don't know what that is. That part we do not know.
We have no idea.
There's some cherry that they are looking for that we don't know.
Specific people know how she died. Was that shared with you? And is that something that you will ever, I guess, reveal, talk about? Does it serve any purpose?
Yes and no. I don't know where they're going to take it. As far as from a criminal side, going through trial and all that type of stuff, it's going to be important, I know, through trial. I just don't know exactly what avenue it will be important. We do know what happened, for sure. And it's not been released to the public officially yet. So we're letting the public officials do that.
Is there a murder weapon?
No.
No?
Not that we know of.
Okay, I didn't know if that was something that was...
No, I shouldn't say no confidently. I should say not that we know of.
Are you very confident going into the trial, or is there any concern?
Here's the thing with the jury.
This case that was made
In a jury trial, it's all about convincing the jury. That's all you have to do is convince the jury. Or I shouldn't even say convince, but yes, that there's reasonable doubt. I don't know how you could turn this story upside down at this point. There was some cracks and crevices when we didn't have a body.
It's important to note Dale Warner has been charged, but is considered innocent until proven guilty. He has not been convicted of any criminal charges related to Dee's death.
We did reach out to Dale's defense attorney to request an interview with her or Dale. She did deny that request. She did send a statement following the positive identification of Dee's remains. It reads, quote, "The latest update from the police confirms this tragic turn of events. However, this does not change Mr. Warner's position, and we are prepared to fight for him at trial."
Dee's family says even with the trial ahead, they'll find peace, but not forgiveness. I don't know if you're religious at all. We do stories like this. Family deals with grief, and then they find peace. Peace with the victim, peace with the perpetrator. Will you ever get there? Do you think you're there?
I don't think I'll ever have peace with Dale. That's after the last 3.5
There is no
years.
doubt in your mind. I know he's been charged,
Mhm.
but there is no doubt in your mind sitting here today that he
No.
is responsible.
No doubt whatsoever. I will never. I said in the very beginning of this, when I suspected him, I said, I want to be wrong. I really, really, really want to be wrong
I think we
about
all said
this.
that. I've been through this similar situation where my best friend was killed by a drunk driver. And kudos to the family. They're religious, and I'm somewhat religious, but I wouldn't call myself the utmost religious. They forgave him. And it takes some strong people to do that. That's what I will say. Some very strong people to forgive somebody that's done something to your family like that.
And while the name Dee Warner came into the spotlight after her disappearance, the call for justice has not quieted. Her family has pushed for answers, holding news conferences and vigils here on their property.
And that push has come from the community as well. And part of that hope, that message in the Justice for Dee campaign is not just about how Dee died, but about how she lived and how her story may be able to help others. We wanted to talk a little bit about Justice for Dee and going forward, what does that operation mean to you guys? Will there be efforts from a state level as far as protections are concerned? Is it too soon to talk about that? Are these things that you guys have been thinking about the last 3 years?
So obviously we're not done yet. We still have to go through trial, sentencing, all that kind of stuff. So we still have a lot more to do for Dee as far as getting justice for her.
That includes an idea to secure crime scenes and areas of interest immediately when a person disappears.
Something that Shelley, Parker's mom, actually really wants is to maybe, I don't know if she wants to do like county level or state level, but create something so that when a person goes missing, that first 48 hours is so critical and the area is just locked down until, the police can come in and look around and search or whatever they need. Just that first 48 hours. Some states do it. Michigan is obviously not one. So that's something I would definitely like to do.
And Justice for Dee aims to support other families who may be dealing with a missing loved one of their own.
And I think this kind of tails back on your previous question about what Justice for Dee will become. I think it needs to become an advocate for people like us where there was no book. I think we need to, and it's an idea of ours that we're working on, we need to write the book of how you go through this process, because there was no step-by-step, okay, you're going to host a visual. How do you host a visual? All this certain things. I mean, we just winged it all. And we were fortunate to have the resources of close friends and stuff like that had a strong backbone, and we weren't going to back down, and we just did it.
I think
off
just
of common
pure
sense.
stubbornness was on our side.
Dee's legacy will continue to be felt at the Lenawee County Fair, where Dee grew up showing animals, eventually becoming a 4-H leader. Now, children will have the chance to win the Dee Warner Distinguished Junior Member Award.
She just adored her 4-H children. I don't know why, to be honest with you. It was just something that was a natural thing for her. And I mean, she would stress herself out beyond belief for this little fair. It takes a special person to have that much passion to do that little stuff. And it takes money too. And so I started this yearly award in her name. What makes it special is we don't pick the recipient, the family, or Justice for Dee. I leave it up to the most important people, or the board members and the 4-H leaders that are working with the kids. They know the kids. I don't have the opportunity to know every single one of them, unfortunately.
Every year, the award will be presented to a junior member who shows excellent sportsmanship among his or her peers, showmanship, and passion for the industry and 4-H.
My goal is to make it something that the kids almost rival over in a good way. You know what I mean? It's meant to be, in my mind, one day a prestigious.
That was her. She was competitive.
Exactly. And that's part of it. And then also just a prestigious award to show, to say to yourself down the road, God, what an honor. I was honored, or I was recognized as as somebody that Dee Warner would be thrilled to know and congratulate.
We end our tribute here in Franklin Cemetery, just a few miles from the family farm, where Dee will be laid to rest among her family members.
And Melissa, the family telling us it was important to get the name right on the headstone.
Deanne forever etched in stone.
A lasting legacy for the life that Dee lived, and the community was a part of it all.
Oh, that's, well, it's a good tribute for her, I believe. That is. So that gives you a background on it and how it all works and what it's all about. I know it's probably not as detailed as the other bits, but yeah, basically she was found in that fertilizer, whatever you call it. Let me find it here. What is it? Tank. So ammonia tank on the property. So okay. So interestingly, so obviously when it's going to trial, there's been many hearings and all that, and then all of a sudden, in December of this year, this happened. See, I'm too slow. Normally people complain I'm too fast. Now I'm too slow. Here we go. Right. Zoom it in. So the detective who was in charge of investigating into Dee Warner's murder is accused of fleeing Michigan to avoid providing testimony in trial. I mean, could you ever imagine the detective for this case, for this trial, is accused of fleeing the area in order to avoid providing testimony in the trial? So, retired Lenawee County Detective Kevin Grecker is a material witness in the trial against Dale Warner, according to court records. Grecker retired in August 2024. The Lenawee County Sheriff said he was the detective in charge of the investigation in the Dee Warner murder case. Dale is accused of murdering his wife Dee, who disappeared in April 2021. Her remains were found on the family's property more than 3 years later. Dale was charged with open murder and tampering with evidence in the death of his wife. His trial is expected to begin January 27th, 2026, which we now know, well, technically it is happening, but it's not really happening. Grecker was taken into custody last week, which was in December, this was, but by U.S. Marshals in Ohio after a bench warrant was issued for his arrest in October. Prosecutors claim Grecker left Michigan to avoid testifying, but it's not clear why. The Lenawee County Sheriff confirmed with Local 4 that deputy sheriffs were trying to serve subpoenas to Grecker but were unsuccessful. He said it's not normal for a material witness detainer to be issued to come back and testify for a case in which a deputy was involved. The need for a detainer should not be necessary. Returning to testify as needed is the right thing to do, the sheriff told Local 4. This could have been avoided had Grecker simply made himself available for subpoena service on the multiple attempts by our deputies. Okay. He's now on bond. We'll watch the video now. But he was the lead detective and allegedly avoiding going to court to testify. Lead friggin' detective. Wow. Right. Let's watch that video of him in court. This is December 17th, 2027. Here we go. It'd be interesting why he didn't want to turn up. Was it Trish thinks it's to favor Dale Warner? Maybe. I've no idea. I say this is all new. This case is totally new to, I would say, most of us. But I find this very intriguing.
All right, are we ready to proceed in the order now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning.
So Dale Warner is here. He's on Zoom. So
Your Honor, Ashley Hanson Grimes on behalf of.
Okay, Paul.
I couldn't hear you from the back, Your Honor.
This is file 25-21841-FC, people of the state of Michigan versus Dale Warner. We are here today for a hearing in the matter of Kevin Thomas Greco, for whom the court has issued a material witness order and subsequently last Friday, I believe, set a bond. First, may I have the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Wise for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jackie Wise on behalf of the people. Good morning, Your Honor. Ashley Hanson Grimes on behalf of retired Detective Kevin Greco, who is also in the courtroom seated to my left.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mary Chartier on behalf of Dale Warner, who is participating via video.
Good morning, Your Honor. Marissa Bensky, also on behalf of Mr. Warner.
Thank you. And the court at the hearing on Friday asked Mr. Greco if he would like to be represented by an attorney. At that point, he did indicate he would like to be represented by an attorney. The court set a bond at that time with the understanding that this hearing would go forward today, giving him a full opportunity to take advantage of it to be heard on the issue of bond. So Ms. Hanson Grimes will give you an opportunity at this point to say anything you'd like with respect to the issue of bond, or if you would prefer to take some testimony, you can do that as well.
Your Honor, although I'm not entirely privy to what happened on December 12th, as it relates to the hearing that was conducted, I do understand that my client did not make a statement regarding, he did address bond in the court, did not ended up setting a $50,000 surety bond. That surety bond has been paid and he is ultimately released. What we take issue with today, and if we are limited in our scope to a bond hearing today, which is what this was noticed as, is the bond conditions. And I would like to take some testimony today regarding that. I do take issue with how things were previously conducted, but we're not here to address those today, and I will file any appropriate motion that I will need to in order for you to consider that once I've reviewed the transcript.
That's fine. I do not have any bond conditions.
Yes, you do, Your Honor.
No, I do not. It is a $50,000 surety.
Oh, okay. They would be from the bonding agency. So I would just ask that there was one provision, there's 3 provisions, that he will comply with any orders from this court, that he will not leave the state of Michigan, and that he will make himself available for any and all court appearances. I've spoken with Ms. Wise. I do not believe that the provision regarding leaving the state of Michigan needs to be there. He has retained me. I'm a local attorney. He lives here locally. He's lived here for over 20 years. He was out to dinner. I want it to be very clear that he was not fleeing in any capacity. He was out to dinner in Ohio when your order was executed upon him. At that point, he then did have to come back. This idea that he was a fugitive from justice, under the definition of a fugitive from justice, simply doesn't apply. He hasn't been charged with anything, nor was he given any notice that your order from October was even in place. There was no tacking, there was no mailing of it to him, there was no indication that he knew anything that happened in the October 21st hearing and the order of attachment that came out of that hearing. So this idea that he is a fugitive and he's been labeled by the media is completely abhorrent to me, because he was out to dinner, as many of us go to dinner, given our close proximity to Ohio. So I do not believe that this is the case. I've talked to Ms. Weiss's office. We acknowledge service of the subpoena in this case. We acknowledge that we will cooperate with any pretrial statements that she may need from my client, just that I am to be present. We have no issue. I take issue with the hearings that were conducted in October, and I will be filing motions regarding those. But I take no issue going forward in having my client fully cooperate to the best of his ability. And at that point, not only with Mr. Warner's counsel, but with the Lenawee County prosecutor. What has been perpetrated upon my client, given his service to this county in the state of Michigan, is disgusting. There are many mechanisms that could have been used to effectuate notice, even to have notice effectuated to the October 21st hearing. The fact that I reviewed the file at 3:45 on Monday, and by 5 o'clock it is released to the media and unsealed, certainly does not seek to show that there was any thought to the safety of my client. And to go further, like, it indicates that there almost seems a willingness to paint him in a bad light. I, again, have many issues with the hearing that was conducted in October, but we're not here for that. However, I do ask that this court make the only condition, if there is to be conditions set. $50,000 cash surety bond has been paid. He is here, he is out, he is willing to cooperate. I anticipate working with Ms. Wise within the next 21 days. And that is to get through the holidays and to get through my scheduling. We have agreed to that. He is in agreement with that. He will testify, or he will state today that he is in receipt of the subpoena and that he fully intends to be bound by that and to make himself available to the prosecutor and to defense counsel.
All right, so I think I heard you request that the condition that he not leave the state of Michigan be, is that
Correct, Your Honor.
Are you asking for anything else?
If the court feels that the conditions are appropriate, I do not believe that they are. And again, because the surety bond has been paid and essentially he has not been charged with any offense, and your order has been effectuated and he has been served, I consider at this point that there should be no conditions at all. However, if the court would feel better about that, we are certainly agreeing that we have no problem saying that we will cooperate in the terms of the subpoena as it is ordered, because we do acknowledge receipt of it.
Just for clarity's sake, there are no conditions on his bond that have been imposed by me other than the $50,000 cash surety.
So then I would ask for an order stating that the bond condition of the bonding agency that states he is not allowed to leave the state of Michigan be removed pursuant to an order from you.
Okay, I'm not aware of any legal authority that I have to tell the bonding agency what additional conditions they may or may not want to put in place in order for them to issue their bond. I will say for the record, well, let me ask Ms. Wise if you have any input that you'd like to make give on this topic.
Your Honor.
That's what I was confused about, because the judge has not put any restrictions. So as far as the court is concerned, he can do whatever the hell he wants, as long as he turns up to court. He's not put the 50,000 up himself. He's gone to an agency, a bail office or whatever you call it, and they've put that on to secure it themselves. Be like, we'll give you the 50,000, we'll pay it, but these are the conditions. We don't want you to be running out of the state because it's our money. If he puts 50,000 of his own money ahead of it, then he doesn't have to worry. That he can go wherever he wants.
The fact that he's hired an attorney and he has appeared today does go a long way, but it doesn't change the fact that we had to look for him for 8 months, and he was in Ohio for a period of time. It wasn't just to go out to dinner.
8 months? What's the communication here then? Because the defense attorney made out that he didn't know about it. So either he did know about it, or they got the worst communication system in any state I've heard of. 8 months. He didn't know. What? That doesn't make sense.
However, this court hasn't set that as a bond condition that he cannot leave the state of Michigan. That's understood. That's part of the bonding agency. I would leave it up to your discretion. I would, however, ask the court to make a bond condition that he does notify the court if he does change his address, if he does change his phone number. Those are the conditions I would be asking for, Your Honor.
Your Honor, pursuant to this pretrial release order, which is a scale motion, or a scale order, which is why.
Well, someone's lying. Someone is lying. Either the defendant here is lying or the state are lying. There's one party are lying. There's no way you can go 8 months and not know about it. So either they did not execute it to the guy, which it should be able to prove, or they did do it and this guy's lying. So it's one or the other. Like, can we not find out what the truth is first? Who's lying right now?
I thought it did come from this court. It does say do not leave the state of Michigan without the permission of this court. I'm asking for the court to grant him permission, blanket permission to leave the state of Michigan.
You are correct.
Okay, well, that's different. That's different. If that's a stipulation that he cannot leave the state of Michigan unless the court allows it, that's different. That's not what she said, though.
That is in the form order on the pretrial release that was signed by the court. I'm sorry, Ms. Weiss, you said you would leave that issue
In the court's discretion, Your Honor, based on the facts that the court has before it from previous hearings, yes.
Ms. Shardy, do you care to have any input on the topic?
The only input would be, I think that retired Detective Greca has acknowledged service of the subpoena. To my knowledge, there's never been an issue with him not attending court before. He's retained counsel who is aggressively representing him. If the bonding agency continues to require that Mr. Greca remain in the state of Michigan, but the court is willing to remove that condition, then one thing is the court could convert the bond to a PR bond. So that way there'd be no bonding agency involved at all to put any restrictions on Mr. Greca. And then it would just be restrictions by the court, which I think is just appearing in court. Thank you.
I would first say, since the topic has come up, the court has never at any point tried to or even intimated that Mr. Retired Detective Greca was a fugitive from justice or anything of the like. The court issued an order pursuant to MCL 767.35 for a material witness to be brought before the court for the purpose of having a hearing to determine whether a bond was appropriate. Anything else? I have been very careful to not even suggest, because we are operating under a very specific provision of the law, and that is the only provision of the law under which the court is operating at this point. I do think, given the fact that Retired Detective Greca has obtained counsel and has posted a bond with surety in the amount required by the court, then eliminating the provision that he not leave the state of Michigan is appropriate. I'm obviously aware that we live very close to the Ohio border, and it's common for people to cross back and forth. And I'm comfortable in this case with Retired Detective Greca doing that, given the bond and what's in place currently. So I would make that modification. Is there anything else we need to address today?
Your Honor, if the court would consider the comments made by counsel perhaps of.
I imagine he's got a defense attorney now because he's been accused of doing something and he needs an attorney to defend him in that. So it's not necessarily about the case. Because if he's telling the truth, he was in contact for 8 months, then the state should, something should happen. So for me, it doesn't sit comfortably with me that somebody's lying here, and surely we should know how. So I don't mind him getting representative, because I think it's the right thing to do if you've been accused of something, especially if you've been accused of not turning up to court and stuff, because he could end up in jail himself, for that. So I presume that's why he got an attorney originally. Whether he keeps the attorney after that, I don't know, but it is to save himself from going to prison, is my guess. And you had a meeting, and so you're behind. Nothing new there, you die. Always behind. Always behind.
Also converting the bond to a PR bond, that would be something we would like you to consider. The bond's already paid, and you made it a surety bond, so it's not a matter of retired Detective Grecker getting his money back, because that's impossible, and the court made it impossible. So it's just a matter of releasing him from any conditions from a bonding agency, and I would leave that in the court's discretion.
I would object to any PR bond just based off of previous hearings, Your Honor.
Facts before this court.
All right, based on what I know of the case right now, I would leave the surety bond in place as a surety bond. If you, Ms. Hanson-Grimes, would like to present further evidence for me to consider in terms of, or for the purpose of reducing or changing that from a surety bond to the personal recognizance bond, I'll give you an opportunity to do that. But as I stand right now, before with what I have before me right now, I'm going to do the surety bond.
Okay, Your Honor, I will perhaps brief that issue and bring it before the court if I do elect to make that change. I do feel that the surety bond at this point essentially has become punitive. He paid the 10% through a bail bondsman, and as is required in the surety bond, once a person pays a bail bondsman, they are not getting that money back. So essentially, this court's order did have the force and effect of being extremely punitive to him in exchange for the fact that he was also held in custody for multiple hours, as opposed to just being brought forth to the court as your order of attachment did suggest and pursuant to the statute. He did not, we kind of bypassed the fact that he would be able to come and make witness for himself as is required in your order of attachment under MCL 767.35, that he would have an opportunity to recognize for himself, yes, there is a subpoena out there for me. Yes, I accept that. Instead, we immediately went to bond, a surety bond that he is going to have to put, either still stay in jail today, which is well beyond the 72 hours that we would be looking at. And this order was also put in place 4 months or more before he is due to be in trial. So at this point, I think that things that have been done, and I will expound on them in further hearings, have an extreme punitive aspect to them. And so that is why I was asking you to consider that on the comments of counsel, because he's already out in a tremendous amount of money that he is not, because of the provisions put by this court, as opposed to just having it be a 10% bond or having it be a lower cash bond. He's not able to get that money back. And so if the court has a way or a mechanism that could indeed be converted, I would take any and all knowledge that you would expound upon that issue. But at this point, there is none. And so the punishment has been levied for an offense that he really didn't have a chance to answer for.
I would point to the statute MCL 767.35 as the court's basis for requiring a surety bond. The statute says nothing about a 10% bond. And so I did think about a 10% bond when making my decision on going forward. And in reading the statute, did not believe that that would be authorized by the statute. And so there's a reason that I did not do that. I have stated my reasons for maintaining the surety bond, which I'll do at this point. And if you'd like to have a further hearing on that or read it in any way, you're welcome to do so.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. At this point in time, there would be nothing more from the court. We will be requesting a transcript of the December 12th hearing. Would the appropriate mechanism be to file something with this court to get that transcript, or how is best for me to get that information?
There's, I believe, a scale for requesting transcripts that we ask.
Just because it was a sealed hearing, that's why I'm asking. I have nothing further today. If Ms. Weiss has anything further.
I have nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so just to be devil's advocate here, Trish, I'm just being a devil's advocate. So my understanding of this, and you will know a lot more than I do, right, Trish? So, like, I'm coming into this blind, completely blind. The way I understand what the defense was saying, what his attorney was saying, is that no one contacted him to say that he would need to be subpoenaed. He needed to be questioned and stuff like that. That's what doesn't make sense to me. How did they contact him? When did they contact him? Because they've got all this evidence. What? Because he's retired now as well, obviously. So it can't be done through his work. And he was retired back then. How was he asked to come in and answer questions? Did he decline? Did he ignore it? Did they hand something to him? That's why I'm confused about it. I would agree with you that if he was asked to come in and he blatantly just ignored it, that's not on. He has a duty to do that. But I also know, having covered trials for years, that nothing is as it looks. So that's why I'm giving it a little bit of grace, because I want to see both sides of this, as in who's lying. It might be him lying, and in that case, you're 100% correct. Why is he not answering the questions? But then the defense attorney, has just said that he was never made aware of any of these things. And she is also an officer of the court, which means she can't lie about it. So unless he's lying to her about it. So that's what I mean. That's why sometimes I wish people were made to stand up and show exactly right. This is everything we did to get him to come in and answer questions. And if they did do all that, he ignored it, then 100%, why is he doing that? Why is he ignoring everything? That is not on. But I'm also a little bit, I've not seen any proof for either side. So, as I say, just playing devil's advocate there. Playing devil's advocate, trying to give him, because I say, she's an officer of the court, so she can't lie. So when she says he was not aware of any of these things, she's not lying, because she can't lie. So whether she's not spoken to him or whether he's lied to her, I don't know. So I'm going to give a slight pass on it until I can see for evidence of it. But if he was asked and he just ignored it, and we can prove that, then it's absolutely moronic that he did not go in and ask questions. I totally agree with you. Morning. Hello, Bex. How are you, my darling? 2x speeds. Hope everything's well. I think I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well, my darling. Erin Hack has decided to join the party. How are you, Erin Hack? How's the bus game going?
Erin Hack, she drives the bus. Yellow bus, yellow bus. Erin Hack, she drives the bus all day long.
I agree with you. I would think she would verify. I agree with you, but that's what I mean. She's an officer of the court. We do sometimes know that they do come up with it and stretch things out, but that's why I give a caveat there. I don't know. So yeah, I agree with you. I would have thought she would have verified it, but funny things can happen. So nothing is ever as it appears. No. And we've learned that the hard way so many times watching these trials, that if we go straight into a trial going right, believing what I'll say is, I try not to do, is not to believe anything I read in the media. Because the media, we listened to the interview yesterday with Erin's boyfriend and the team in Texas, and they said how much misinformation was in the media. Which was ridiculous, and they were like, it was so frustrating for them because the media were pushing for a guilty verdict on their client, and thankfully he was found not guilty. So media will lead you down a certain way. Dave is in the chat. Hello, Dave. How are you? Hope you're doing well. So this Dave here is the Dave that does require a lot of work. He is basically he's a woman dressed in man's clothing. The other Dave is Boston Union Dave. He's hard nosed, doesn't take offense to anything. So right, so that's where we're at with that one. So that was in December. Just to give a brief overview of that, this is the final pre-trial hearing for Dale that occurred 12 days ago. This is a 48-minute one, so this leads us into the trial. And just before those that come in late, because I know some of you are late here, the jury selection is going to take 2 weeks, and the trial is estimated to last for a further roughly around 6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks. So it's an 8 to 9 week process. The reason that jury selection is going to take so long is because there's 700 prospective jurors. Each side has 18 strikes, so they can strike anybody they want. And voir dire will be done individually, not as a group. So normally courts do as a group, like groups of 20, groups of 50, but this time they're not. They're just taking everyone one by one, which is why it's going to take forever. So those poor prospective jurors, some of them might be there for 2 weeks every day going in, which would suck. So there's always one. And normally it's Erin Hack. So perspective view of it is, luckily I've got notes. April 25th, 2021, 52-year-old Dee Warner vanishes from her home on Munger Road in Franklin Township in Detroit after reportedly planning to meet with her husband. In August 2022, so over a year later, Michigan State Police take over the investigation from the Lenawee County Sheriff's Office. In November 2023, Dale Warner, her husband, second husband, is arrested and charged with open murder and tampering with evidence, despite no body being found. So at that stage, there's no body being found. That's over 2 years later, like 10, 11. So 2 years, 7 months later, they did a whole load of searches and stuff, couldn't find the body. In March 2024, the judge legally declares Dee Warner dead. In August 16th, 2024, investigators make a discovery, and human remains inside a welded shut ammonia tank was found on Dale's property. And allegedly, Dale was seen working on that tank previously, painting it and welding it. So they believe that he, at that stage, put Dee's body in there, and dental records confirmed that it was Dee in the tank. And basically now, January 2026 is the final pre-trial hearing. Now, just to preface it, I always say preface, but preface it, Dale's son was also arrested in March 2025 for tampering with evidence and being an accessory, but charges were dropped in May. Did you say welded? Thank you, Josie. Did you say welded ammonia tank? Yes. So this is how it is, Dave. I can't say all the words, but this is what it says, Dave. So I made notes on it, but that's what it comes to. Similar to the Ferris case, yes. Similar to the Ferris case, I would say. The difference in this one is they think it's going to last 9 weeks, which is why I'm like, I'm not sure if we're going to do this. I think from what I gather, there's going to be a lot of financial stuff in here that obviously they're going to say that he got rid of her because of money and stuff like that. And they had 3 businesses, a trucking business, a farming business, and a fertilizer business. And allegedly, the moneymaker was a trucking business, which Dee ran. But then it's funny to me because the story led with that she was crying the night before she disappeared because she'd argued with a couple of workers, a couple of truckers, and you know, yeah, that was basically what they thought. I think originally happened that the truckers don't like her and basically did whatever. Does amnesia break down human remains? I believe so. Yes, Dave. So that's all was left was like some teeth and I'm not sure how much bones and stuff, but I believe you might be right, Dave. But it was an old one, so I don't know how it would work. So yeah, that's where we're at basically. As I say, I'm not sure if we're going to cover this case or not fully. I do believe Court TV, Dateline, all the Detroit stations will be there covering it anyway. So the people that want to watch it anyway can watch it, even if we don't cover it. So I just believe that 7 weeks is a long time for a trial. But we'll see. We'll see how we feel. Right, so this was the hearing. This is a 48-minute hearing that I will play. This is the pre-trial hearing. There has also been several hearings that have lasted days and stuff like that before the body was found. Yes, 9 weeks. It's 2 weeks, as I say, 2 weeks before Dyer to select the jury and 6 to 7 weeks for the trial. So that's why I'm not sure if we're going to cover it. Detroit represents. Yeah, Katie loves it. Right, here we go. Let's listen to this, see what if this grasps us as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you. And look at I'll give your lip.
So he will be on Zoom, I believe. So there is that as well.
Oh.
What I will also add to this, while looking at it, I think 99% of the public believe that he is guilty. I do believe that most of the evidence points towards him currently. He was seen, as they welding shut the tank by his nephew and brother-in-law, and that's where the remains were found. So there's a lot of evidence against him, and I believe the general public will be very much on the guilty side. I do, again, try and preface that by saying I do still try and come into every trial whether the defendant is innocent unless proven guilty. So even though there's a lot of stuff that we know from the media against him, that definitely points towards him. So I just still try and go into this with innocent unless proven guilty. But, here we go. This is the name. I forgot. Agent Gonzalez. This is exactly, I think 90% of people in the public thought that he was also guilty. So, and also we just remember we only see and hear what the media tell us as well. So that's not to say that we don't want justice for Dee, because everyone does. But as Erin's boyfriend said, don't believe anything you hear, don't believe anything that you see, and only believe half of something. And I forget what that is. And that's true. That's true. And that was proven when he said, Jason Goss said that the video showing the Uvalde officer, Uvalde officer sanitizing his hands, it was a very bad look, and I was even pissed off. But the reason he was doing that was because he was told that he would have to give medical treatment to children. So he didn't have any gloves, so he was sanitizing his hands in readiness to treat children, which is like, oh shit, yeah, that makes sense. So don't believe everything you hear. But again, that does not mean that Joy deserves justice. So that's why it's important. If he did do it, he needs a fair trial so that he doesn't get any appeals. in my opinion. So if you do everything correctly and the jury find the defendant guilty, there's no shadiness, then fine. But the evidence will show us, cross-examination will show us, and then the defense own case may show us what they have as well. So, because what I understand in this case, there's no DNA, there's nothing. So, there's a lot of hearsay and a lot of those kind of testimonies. So we'll see. So that's just important. Even though I know the most of you probably still believe that he's guilty, but please, maybe try and come into it like we did with Adrian Gonzalez. Maybe the guy likes welding, maybe. Just gonna jump.
You just start playing your next. Get first. To get on some of that ground, you just have to steer the brakes.
Here we go. Fuck, we just skipped 40 minutes. Just because Dave is here, and anyone interested in the NFL, breaking news, Adam Schefter just announced that the Bills are signing Joe Brady as their new head coach. So Josie, tell Nate, because I know Nate wanted Joe Brady, tell him, unlucky, he's just signed a 5-year deal with the Buffalo Bills. He will now be the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills. So sorry to Nate and Arizona Cardinals. And Dave, I know you like to know these news as well. So breaking news, Joe Brady is to sign a 5-year deal as Buffalo Bills' new head coach. So yeah. So there's only the Browns, Cardinals, and Raiders left now. I am McAfee. I am McAfee.
Is file 24-21841-FC, People of the State of Michigan versus Dale Warner. We are here today for a final pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today partially in person and partially by Zoom. First, can I have the attorneys place their appearances on the record?
Good morning, Your Honor. Jackie Wise and Dave McCready on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mary Chartier on behalf of Dale Warner, who is participating via Zoom. Thank you.
And Marissa Vinsky also on behalf of Mr. Warner.
Thank you. And Mr. Warner is here present by Zoom. We have had some discussion, in the jury room about some logistical issues. I think the voir dire questions are pretty much resolved at this point. The jury instructions, my understanding is there are a couple of what we think are minor issues, and you're going to be in contact with Sierra on those. Is that accurate?
That's correct, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Are there any other issues? Well, I'm sorry, I should also say we have a couple of motions that are pending that will be heard on February 6th. Other than that, is there anything that we need to address, or are we ready to proceed to trial?
People are ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Nothing else to address. The defense is ready to proceed to trial. Thank you.
All right, then. We will resume then on January 27th at the start of trial. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, fuck, I didn't expect that. That's all it was. Now I know how you feel, ladies. 2 minutes. That's it. All that built up expectations gone in 2 minutes. Sorry, ladies. Right. Okay, that was a bit quick. Right. Let me, for some of you came in late, so I'll play this again if I can find it. I know you said, when was this trial we watching? When was this trial we watching? It started in 2021. She was found dead in 2021. The trial starts today, jury selection. But yeah, it's not. It's in jury selection at the minute. So, and again, I don't know if I'm going to cover this because it's so long. Typical 2 minutes. They should have picked up McDaniel, Sala, or hell, even Harbour. Do you know what? I don't think anybody wants to go there. I think Arizona is a great destination. It's just, I think the ownership suck, Josie. I genuinely think they suck so bad people don't want to go there. I think that's part of the problem. Right, I need to find it now. Where did it go? Where did it go? My lovely, where did it go? Where did it go? I need to find this. So Dee Warner. Bye-bye. Bye, Miss American Pie. Right, I'm just going to take this here. And I'm going to play this for you again for those that came in late.
Gone through so much.
And it's gotten national attention. You know, we're on this email chain with the court administrator, Dateline's coming, Court TV's coming, all of the Detroit stations. So there's a lot of interest in this case, and we've covered it from the beginning.
With all the publicity it's been getting, is it even possible to get people on the jury that haven't heard? I guess the whole point is maybe get them in and they admit that, like, I have an open mind about the case.
Well, I think that's the misconception, because there's a lot of people, as I post about this case coming to trial, who are saying it's not going to be possible to find people who have not heard of the case. But that's not what needs to happen. It's okay if people have heard of the case, but they need to be able to say that they are unbiased after hearing what they've heard about the case. So the attorneys on both sides need to feel confident that despite what these potential jurors may have heard, that they can make a decision that is fair and delivers justice without bias. That's the big question.
I can't imagine the number of people it's going to require to go through one by one to go through jury selection.
So we have information on that. There are 700 people in Lenawee County who will receive a jury duty notification. So it's an expanded pool. Usually they're not this big. And the judge is also allowing for 18 preemptive challenges. So that means an attorney can say, I don't want this person because they said that they are Team D or Team Dale. Okay. But then they get 18 strikes basically to say, I don't want this person. And they don't have to really give a reason why.
What are the likely questions you'd be asking a potential juror about the case?
So I did request the proposed questions, and I have them from both the defense and the prosecution. And I just brought today some that I think are interesting. Obviously, you have run-of-the-mill ones, like have you attended any vigils for Dee, or how much have you heard of the case? But here's some that I thought were a little interesting. Do you think, these are the defense proposed questions, do you think all claims of domestic violence are truthful, or might there be some exaggerations? What about someone who was at times checking on their spouse's whereabouts? Do you think that person is necessarily more likely to commit murder? Do you have or live on a farm, or have you done any welding or know anything about welding or anhydrous ammonia? So those are the defense questions. And you can kind of sense where they're trying to go with this. For the prosecution, do you believe all victims of domestic abuse report the abuse to law enforcement? Do you believe that secretly tracking your spouse is normal behavior? And then one points to the fact that we don't necessarily know of any DNA. Do you believe you must have DNA or other scientific evidence to be convinced a particular person is associated with that crime? So they want to make sure that the juror is going to be okay with not necessarily hearing any DNA evidence.
8 weeks of this trial, is that kind of optimistic?
We're looking at 9, so end of March. Now, for jury selection, we're looking at about 2 weeks because they are pulling them in, from what I understand, one by one for voir dire. Voir dire means to speak the truth. It's an old French saying, to speak the truth. So this is the whole process of jury selection. It's called voir dire, so you'll hear a lot about that. And they're doing it one by one. And I already told you how many they're calling in.
Mel, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, just to confirm, 700 are being called in. So, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. If I didn't know it was going to take 7 weeks, I'd probably cover it. It's just the thought of doing 7 weeks. Oh, especially if it's going to be like financial crime stuff as well, like the Alex Murdoch stuff. That's going to be. So I'm going to stop streaming today now on that. But so tomorrow I'll look into stuff. If I lean towards showing this trial, what I might do is play a previous hearing so we can gauge a little bit of what's been said before. Because there's days worth of hearings on this case, so that we can play. So we might play them tomorrow and see what we think, or it might be something that jumps out to us, and we do instead, because we've got 2 weeks to wait anyway, and then we can decide what we're going to do. I also understand a lot of people are waiting to see what's happening with Aaron Spencer. So, but yeah, Nancy, see you later. I'm going off now anyway, my darling. So I'll be going off. I will carry on Googling stuff though about this case and other cases that might be coming up, so we can then decide what we're going to do. Because I think it needs to be a little bit of a team effort on this one, because 9 weeks is a long time to wait. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see. So with that, I am going to end the stream there. Yeah, I think it's been a good stream overall. I'll leave you with a tidbit of why you shouldn't go into this trial thinking that what social media tell you is the truth. Is just remember what happened when we were told that there was video evidence of Karen hitting John with a car, and there was no such thing. So that's always my go-to. Just remember, media, mainstream media, they're like Becks. You know they're like Becks. What does that mean? They are.
You're a cunt. You're a cunt.
You're a cunt. You're a cunt.
You're a cunt. You're a cunt. You're a cunt. You're a cunt.
Thank you, everybody. If you are waiting to go somewhere else, just follow Spacey Stacey, Lady Di, and Hippie Chick. They'll be on the streets working. So just go and follow them. They'll be out there.
Hippie Chick, Lady Di, Spacey Stacey, walking those streets all night. You go, ladies, come and see what's going on now. Let's go, girls.
It's not Carrega long, you're right. That's true. That's true. We'll see what happens. If there's a bit of interest in it, people, I will do it. We'll see what happens. With that, I love most of you. Take care. Have a great evening. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Nancy. I'll see you tomorrow, whatever happens. I'll be on tomorrow around 9:30. Love you, most of you. Take care. Bye now. Good night.